Hi, everybody. This is Mrs. Robinson, and today we are going to be analyzing the Declaration of Independence, and we're going to do so quickly. So here we go. Here's some background information up here. Thomas Jefferson lived from 1743 to 1826 and was governor of Virginia during the American Revolution, America's first Secretary of State and third President of the United States. He was a big deal. He had a varied and monumental career as a politician, public servant, scientist, architect, educator. He founded UVA, and a man of letters. Jefferson attended the Continental Congress in 1775, where he wrote the rough draft of this document, the Declaration of Independence. Other hands made contributions to the document that was signed on July 4th, 1776, but the wording, style, structure, and frankly, the spirit of the final version are distinctly Jefferson's. Like Thomas Paine, Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, and other figures of the Revolutionary era, Jefferson was notable for his use of prose. Prose isn't anything that is not poetry, by the way. You should probably write that down. As an instrument for social and political change. In the Declaration of Independence, we see the direct, precise, logical, and persuasive statement of the revolutionary principles that makes the document one of the best known and best written texts in world history. This is a big deal, people, in world history. Jefferson died in his home at Monticello on July 4th, 50 years to the day from the signing of the Declaration of Independence. That intro was written by the good people who wrote The Art of Voice, Language, and Composition. Check out the textbook if you want another AP Lang textbook, because I know we all do. I do, because I like them. Anyway, if you do not have this document pulled up, you should go on Classroom and make a copy for yourself and pull it up. If you want to annotate it on a Google Doc, that's fine. Or if you want to print it and annotate it, that's also great. All right, here we go. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to separation. This is really interesting because all of this right here is one sentence. Bam, that is a long sentence. All of this right here, these are this is the buildup, the unanimous. So they're saying, here we are together. This is a unanimous declaration. So you should be marking this in your text right now. The unanimous declaration, this decision is together. When in the course of human events. So life has made this necessary. This wasn't something that we thought was necessary beforehand. It becomes necessary. It is in the process of becoming necessary, like stuff has happened and we need to do this. For one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them to another. So here, this is interesting because for one and to another, these pronouns are really important because they are being used to separate the two groups of people. They're also used as a replacement. This one group of people, these are the people who live in what we now call the United States. And with another, these are the people who lived in England. So instead of saying America to separate themselves from England, they use these really vague pronouns to kind of distance themselves from the situation. Also, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, at this point, we were not called the United States of America officially. We were still technically part of England. So that is also important to recognize, that they had a name to call themselves, but it wasn't official yet. And to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitled them. This is fascinating because here we are appealing to those who would have been Enlightenment thinkers, who would have been like, God doesn't care about what we do on a daily basis. He's a clockmaker God who just made the world and let it go. But here, nature's God. So this still preassumes that the audience believes in God. And that's really important because that is not an assumption that most people would make in today's world. that everyone in their audience believes in God. So here is all of the buildup. Now, when you have a sentence that has a bunch of buildup and a bunch of clauses and phrases, and then at the end, just like this one, you have your primary clause, that is called a periodic sentence. We've learned about them. Periodic sentences are great when you are talking about really controversial issues because you have all your evidence coming at the beginning before you have your claim. You put your evidence first and then your claim. And what that does is it's supposed to soften the heart and soften the psyche of the people who are reading what you are writing. So a periodic sentence is really good for talking about controversial stuff. And this was written to the world and to England. And so this was controversial because England was like, no, we want your tax money. We still think you're part of us. Like, what the heck is going on? But here they're like, no. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires, again, necessary, requires. Look at that diction. That diction indicates that there is no choice. So it's black and white diction. That they should declare the causes which impel them to separation. Impel, again, like impel, look that up if you don't know the definition, but it means to like push forward. So we are being pushed forward to separation. This isn't something that we can just let happen. Okay, here's another one. Woo, famous sentence. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Holy junk. That's a sentence, and that's a sentence. So this is a really long section. We're going to stop right here. Let's see. How long have we been going? 7 minutes. Wow. Okay. So we're actually only going to get through this first page, but that's okay because I want this first couple weeks to be the Declaration of Independence. So we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. First thing, this right here is actually a loose sentence because this right here is the main clause. All of this is just the evidence that kind of backs it up and supports it. So we hold these truths to be self-evident. This is your primary clause. This is important that they said self-evident because they don't feel as if they have to prove it, but they're explaining it. So Jefferson is saying, like, everyone who looks at human life should be able to see that this is true. And then he uses anaphora at the end of this loose sentence, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Again, anaphora for emphasis, but again, anyone who looks at humanity should be able to say, well, of course that's true. This is a self-evident truth. Additionally, one thing that was included among the undeniable truth is that people are created, which is something, again, today we would not assume. So when you're thinking about the context of the speech, think about the fact that the world was different back then, but that people would have assumed that people were created by a capital C Creator, some type of sentient being, and that people had life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay, here's anaphora again, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving from their just powers the consent of the governed. That whenever, again, anaphora again, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it. All right, we're going to stop there, and I will see you next class. I hope you annotated the junk out of that. Have a beautiful afternoon/evening. Goodbye.